Hello and welcome, my name's Sam and this is the Little Greenhouse Creates. Thank you for joining me today and thank you for joining me for our last card in this week's stamp set of the week, Enduring Beauty. And this is our final card. It is based around the sketch on page 22. Let's see if I can find it. And it's this one here, number 5. Now, it's got like a... there's a technical word for that which has just escaped, but it's got it's like a banner ending to both ends, but I didn't particularly like that, so I've actually just taken off the edges of my card instead. So that is the only difference with page 22 sketch 5 for me. So this is my version of it. So let's bring in the supplies, and there are loads. So I'm going to use the main die that cut out the image. Then I've got this little die that gives me the sentiment. Then I have 3 pieces of card. One is for the actual masking and printing. One is for the inside layer, and I've got a spare just in case. I have a piece of scrap lemon lime twist for the cutouts of the extra dies I'm going to use in this. I'm just going to read across. So here are some of them. So you've got a leaf and a flower. Okay. Then I have also got lemon lolly for my base card, which is 8 inches by 5 3/4, scored at 4 inches. I have an envelope. And I have a piece of pumpkin pie that measures 3 1/2 by 5 1/4, and I've run it through the embossing folder already, and it's given me that effect. So the first thing we need to do is to take our piece of Whisper, I'll stop calling it Whisper White, Basic White, and as I say, this measures 3 1/2 by 5 1/4. Now, I did say I was going to show you something slightly different with masking, with the mask for this, and this time is if you've got a Stamparatus or any sort of positioning tool, then you could do this with that. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to put my piece of paper, I'm going to put a dab of Stampin' Seal there, tap it so that it's not 100% sticky, and then I'm going to pop that probably there, like so, and then I'm going to take my first mask. So if you remember, there are 5 in total if you saw Wednesdays, but if not, there are 5 in total, but on this occasion I'm only going to use 4 of them, as I'm planning on using the outline. In the top right hand corner next to this little V, you will find a number. So that's number 2, that is 3, that is 4, which means that one must be 1. Excellent. So the first thing I'm going to do is take the mask, top left hand corner, right in the top of the Stamparatus. So you can see I actually need to move my paper over a little bit more. So we can do that. What you could almost do is just pop the paper like so onto your paper. There we go. So it's not quite straight, so let's see if I can straighten it off. There we go, and then that goes up there. So what you can do now is you can take your colours and you can start blending your colours. So for this particular card, I'm just going to start with Peach Pie. And I'm going to use my small little brush, circular motions, exactly the same as you would with the big one, off on the scratch, and then work your way around. Now obviously when you do this, you can decide whether after you've done it you want to add the outline, or whether you're just going to work with the colours the way they are, and then that's when the 5th mask comes into play, because it then gives you the centre of the flower. Okay, so that was Peach Pie, that's my first colour. So I can remove that, and then I will bring in my second mask. So the top left hand corner again, and this time I'm going to bring in my lemon lime twist, and I've got another little brush, so I dab it out on here and then work my way round like so. There we go. So it can be quite quick to do. There we go. And you can take that off. So it's beginning to gain its colours. Right, now we're going to go on to number 3, which is more detail for the flower. So I'm going to use the pumpkin pie on that one. And I have a slightly bigger brush, so circular motion, and then holding it, I'm just going to go over gently. There we go. To there. Perfect. Look at that. Liking that. Then the final one, which is the green, and again for this one I'm going to do garden green, and my darker brush which has run off. Oh, there it is. And then I'm just going to go over that, and this gives it the veins for the leaves. There we are. Okay, so the thing to do now is, if you wanted to use the frame that we've been using all week, you then take your frame and you just layer over the top like so. Make sure you're happy with it and pick it up with your plate. However, for the purpose of this video, I'm going to bring in the 5th one, and that we're going to work in early espresso, and so you can just see where it comes in and what it looks like. So I've got my early espresso. Okay, a circular motion, and then you just go over the areas where your center of your flower would be. Now for me, this needs to be quite a dark area, so I'm just going to give it another go just to make sure I'm happy with the darkness of these, because this is the center. Okay, so we have 2 versions to look at. So that, ta-da, is the way the flower looks if you don't put the outline on. Now I have already done the cut out version that we're going to use today, but you can actually see there is quite a difference really. But which do you prefer? I can't decide. I can't decide. I like them both, but for the purpose of the video I'm going to use this one. So let's put this aside and we can move on with our next section. So with the paper already, with the card base already folded, and you need to be really sure that you've burnished it. I have seemed to have buried, bear with me for a second, my bone folder. I know it's here somewhere, there it is. So I'm just going to really crease that so that it lays as flat as it possibly can. Then I'm going to bring in my embossed base. Now normally we would just pop it down like so, but the sketch said it needed a V shape and I didn't particularly like the V's either end, so I'm just going to move my card base round till I'm quite happy with where it's going to be. So I think it's going to look like that. So I'm going to stick it down with my multi-purpose. Not too much on the edges because there are going to be bits that we're going to cut off. So straight card, crooked mat, and then we're going to wriggle it down. There we go. And then we're happy with where it's going to be. We can then bring in a very large pair of scissors and we're just going to cut the edges off. So as you can see, I did manage to get glue on that end, which is a shame. I'll just stick that down so it's out of the way. Same with this edge. Perfect. And then this one. There we are. And then the last edge, which is down here at the bottom. So our base now looks like so. I'm glad I checked that. Let's turn it around so it's correct. There we go. So that goes like that. Now we can bring on our focal point, and I'm just going to work out which way I fancy it. I think I'm going to go that way, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to raise it with dimensionals, but the dimensionals are only going to be in the middle, not on the outside, and you'll see why in a moment. So because it's quite a large area, I'm actually sticking quite a few down. And one in the middle. Okay, so now we can take backs off. As you can see, I haven't coloured the back of these like I normally do, which makes finding out I've taken them all off a little, yeah, I have, a little harder. Okay, so now you can position your focal point. So let's do it there. Now earlier on, using all the dies that were left in the die set for this, I have cut out in the lemon lime twist some leaves. So we got 2 sets of double leaves, 2 sets of flower buds, and 2 sets of single leaves. And then you can, because you've raised it, you can just work out where you're going to poke those to add to your card. I may not poke it there, I might put it there. Alright, pop that in there, and maybe pop that one in there, maybe that one there. Okay, so once you're happy with where you're going to put them, you just take your glue out, put it on the edge of your die cut, slot it into place, and then it's in the right. You don't need to cut colour or even glue the leaves all the way down. They just fit in nicely like so. And you've got my flower bud, so gently across the stem of the bud, let that go in. There we go. And then I've got this one down here. So once we've stuck this down, the only thing we need to do now will be to put the sentiment on, and I have used the die that comes with the actual set to create the square section on the sketch that was to the bottom left hand corner, and you'll be able to see that if you check out the catalogue. Now if you don't have a catalogue and would like a catalogue, then please drop me a line or a message at the bottom of this video, and I am quite happy to add or send you one. I also, if you're watching on YouTube, there will be at the bottom of the description a cart where you can purchase or find out which items I have used to create this card. And obviously if you're on Facebook, then by all means pop over to YouTube and that will be there for you as well. So that is that section. So the only thing we need to do now is to add our greeting. So I have got a greeting here which says happiest of birthdays, and then I'm just going to use the early espresso and there we go, pop that on like so. There we are. Now the object, obviously you can stick it or put it on dimensionals, but for this occasion I'm going to use the glue, and I don't want it to go any further than that edge of the card, so I'm just going to little glue down the middle, line it up with the edge of the card, and then it can go straight down. Now if you wanted to, you could obviously add bling, but for me I am not going to on this occasion. So that is the card created today. This is the original, and then of course we have, she says, where have I put it? It's disappeared. Oh, I left it on the Stamparatus, of course. Then the other version we've got is that one there. So I can't decide. What do you think? That way or that way? Anyway, thank you for joining me today, and whatever you do for the rest of the weekend, have a lovely time. We're back again on Monday with a new stamp set of the week, so do join me then if you're available. But have a wonderful weekend. I believe the weather is still staying quite good, and I look forward to catching up with you very soon. So lots of love, take care,